What's going on? Sorry for my appearance. Just got off of work. Took the boat out on the lake yesterday, testing out a new lure, swim bait slash crankbait that I got off of wish.com. This video is pretty much going to be going over mistakes you want to avoid before you take out your boat, and some mistakes to avoid while you're out on the water. Let me show you what we're using. Okay. Here's the swim bait slash, let me get it off here real quick. It's got the kind of a rainbow bluegill pattern. It definitely has really great action in the water. As soon as I took it out of the box, I knew right off the bat I was going to have to upgrade these hooks. These things are tiny, and you'll see, like I said in the video, I had a lot of I missed a lot of good hookups, 1 or 2 pound hookups anyway for this lake. I did catch a couple, and the last one that I caught, he was a chunk. It almost seems like, I mean, he just smashed it. He must have just swallowed it. When I set the hook, I must have ripped him in the gill because he was bleeding from his gill pretty bad. When I pulled him out of the water, one of these hooks was in the top lip, one was in the bottom lip. It wasn't in the gill. And as I'm sitting there trying to take out the hook, I realized he's dripping blood all over the place. I did do an underwater release footage of the fish. He swam away just fine. He's gonna be just fine. But anyway, let me show you what I'm throwing this on, or what I was throwing this on. This is the Abu Garcia Black Max. This is a 6.6 medium action rod. It's the 24-ton graphite. I believe this is 30-pound spider wires. It's time to change this. It's been on there for a while. But yeah, this is this Black Max is the budget line. I still find it to be a great pole. You could spend $300 on a fishing pole if you want to. I'm not going to say anything. It is definitely personal preference. I'm sure fishing with an expensive high-dollar fishing pole like that is nice. Personally, I like to stay within the $100 range. You can get, good bait cast combos like this between the $100, $200 range. I think this one was about $80. I really don't know. My daughter bought it for me for my birthday last year, and I've put it to use, and I love it. But anyway, there is the bait that we're using, and let's get to the video. And if you like the video, don't forget to smash that like button. If you're not subscribed to my channel, you can subscribe at this time. And if you want to get notified for any future content that I upload, hit the bell icon right there next to the subscription button. Let's get to the video. Okay, so the first mistake I made was I wasn't paying attention. I was looking down at my graph, and the fish caught me off guard, so I didn't get a good hook set to begin with. Now, if you remember, the bait that I was using had those little treble hooks on it that I didn't upgrade before I went out. Second mistake I made, if you're fishing in 4 to 5 feet of water, after you set the hook, that fish is limited on how far down he can go. So he's gonna come up, he's gonna jump, he's gonna spit that bait, especially if you don't have a good hookup on him. So if you're fishing in shallow water, keep your rod tip down. I made this mistake a few times in this video, which you'll see. Come on. Oh, spit it. Oh, came off. Alright, so this next fish was just a little dink, but it was the first fish that I landed with this new bait. Now this lake used to have some giants in it, but it got overvegetated about 2 years ago with a bunch of hydrilla and a bunch of sludge. The lake doctors came in and killed all the fish when they were treating the lake. Now they did restock it with some fingerlings, and those fingerlings, they've had a couple years to grow, but they're still dinks. But this lake does connect with 2 other lakes here in this subdivision, and every now and again I catch some decent sized fish, for this lake anyway, that may have found their way through the culverts, or maybe they survived that massive fish kill that happened a couple years ago. This fish is not one of them. Stay down. Dadgummit. That was a good one. Ain't gonna hit it twice.
Yeah, remember to keep that rod tip down, y'all. And no, he ain't gonna hit it twice. Not throwing the same bait anyway. Alright, this is the fish I was talking about in the beginning of the video, where one of the treble hooks was hooked in the top lip and one was hooked in the bottom lip. And as I was trying to get it out, I realized he was dripping blood all over the place from one of his gills. And so he wasn't hooked in the gill when I pulled him out of the water, but somewhere in between him smashing that lure underwater or him jumping out of water, it may have shifted positions, because he was bleeding. You'll see here in a minute. There it is. And you know, like I said, I did the underwater release footage on this one. He was spitting out blood pretty good, but he did swim away just fine. So I don't have any reason to believe that fish isn't going to be okay. Now it's when a fish swallows a hook and you rip out that fish's gullet trying to remove that hook. That's what kills these fish. And I know it doesn't sound good, but if you get a fish that swallows a hook, your best bet would be to just, cut that line right at the eye of the hook in its mouth, leave that hook in its mouth and give it time to rust out. There's a lot of controversy on how long it takes a hook to rust out of a fish's mouth. The fish may not be able to eat for a few days, but eventually that hook will rust out and that fish will survive. I'm the last person that will rip out a fish's gullet trying to remove a hook. It's just going to kill the fish.
Danger.